Hi everyone, and welcome to the Falconers Moonlight. Now, already I love this music. I used to play the violin, and I can already tell that someone's playing the cello, I want to say, right here. It's too deep to be the viola, which is slightly larger than the violin, which causes it to make deeper noises. That's how when you get to this point, it's like you don't get that noise out of a violin or viola. I know that because my best friend, actually, when I was younger, was playing the viola at the same time I was playing the violin. So I didn't actually look in here. Huh. Okay, so this is kind of like a choose your own adventure kind of game. So I figure I would play this because why not? Just increase text speed a bit. So, let's get into the game. This is a work of fiction. Naming characters, businesses, places, events, and incidents are either the product of the author's imagination or used in a fictional manner. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or events. This did not actually happen, and if it did, it was a coincidence. That is basically all that's saying. Her red-rimmed eyes watched him walk away. Her shivering hands unfolded the chisel from its hiding place in her dress. Her white lips drew back from teeth that were strong yet crooked in the front and stained a light yellow from the tobacco. She pilfered each day for her father's tin. Oh, from her father's tin. Okay, yeah, so she took it from her father. Her father had told her never to give up. Never to let anyone treat her like dirt. Never to take no for an answer. She gripped the chisel tightly in her hand and took a trembling step towards the path. The glint of the chisel blade served to calm her, to light her way. She took another step forward, this one more steady, more ready than the first. Better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. She teach this man, this so-called lover, the true meaning of love and loss. She launched forward, about to break into a run, her boot never touched the ground. In a burst from the forest, faster than her fevered mind could even register. It took her in its great arm, barbed like sharpened bone, tearing through her dress, sinking into her flesh. What the fuck? This is a supernatural-based one, by the way. So, it's bound to have a little bit of creepiness to it, because a lot of supernatural stuff tends to. It carried her off into the mist before she could even scream. Well, that's not a good sign. Moonlight. A town grown too used to mourning those it has lost. 67 men destined to die in a pitch black hole deep under the ground. Their bodies dragged up from the earth just so they could be put right back in it again. As a falconer, I suppose I should be used to death. It's my tool and my trade. Oh, I didn't even know she would. Oh, this is like her monologuing. I'm not very good at female voices, to be honest. I deal it out so that others might escape its claws. This world we live in, it's not so hospitable. Not so tame as we like to think. These towns, just like Moonlight, They try to look like they belong. These people, they think building a house is the same as making a home. They don't know whose home they have stolen until the color comes for them. Again, this is beautiful music. I left the mourners, to shovel the dirt over their dearly departed. I rode through moonlit on streets of freshly turned mud. The buildings have been all cut and sawn from the virgin forest that surrounds this town on all sides. This place was once lush, wet green as far as the eye could see. Gold has a habit of changing all of that. The Moonlit Hotel was just ahead, its warm inner holding the promise of a bath, a hot meal, and respite from the bone-chilling mist. As I drew close, I got to think about my mission here, about the disappearance of Captain George Moonlight. God, Captain Morgan. He was once a very drunk moonlighter. Spoke of in his letter to the Order of the Falcon about a mining accident that killed 65 men. If those two were not connected, then I'm not a Falconer. Yes, coincidences exist, but they're far more rare than people tend to believe. The proprietor of the Moonlit Hotel, Mary Suncliffe, greeted me at the door. Her bright smile clashed mightily with the black dress she wore out of respect for the town's recent tragedy. Welcome to the Moonlit Hotel, Miss Winters. Call me Cassie. And you're Mary Suncliffe, I'm guessing. Please call me Sunlight. Most people around here do. On account of your sunny disposition. Her smile grew just that little bit wider. She sure did have pretty teeth. Not something to be taken for granted in the backcountry mining town like this. The staff are drawing a bath for you right now, and dinner's in the bar in an hour. Thank you kindly. My pleasure. Oh, and the wake will start about then too. The wake? Most of the miners, the ones lost in the incident, were Irish. A few Scots. Oh my god. You know what? Captain Morgan works for this. Captain Morgan visited an Irish and Scots town. I didn't even know. I mean, there was a lot of Irish people, but in a lot of older times and stuff like that. But yeah, I love that. I didn't even know. It's tradition for them to drink hard and toast those who have passed. So what you're saying is, if I want to get any sensible answer out of people tonight, I should aim for between rounds 3 and 5, right? My thoughts exactly. Oh god, I got a smile plastered on my face from hearing that, from reading that. Oh man. Mary Suncliffe lived up to her nickname. She certainly brightened my day. One purifying bath and delicious meal later, I found myself with a pint of the local miner's dark in my hand and a bar full of town folk to question. Most people don't know about the colors, and those that do tend to wish they didn't. But there's a lot a Falconer can learn from what people think they can tell you. What they think they've seen and heard. And most of all, what they really don't want to tell you. I spotted the captain over by the bar, the wealthiest man in this namesake town of his. I'd need to be talking to him about his letter to the Falconers soon enough. Oh, yeah, that's right. His name was Moonlight. His last name was Moonlight. That should have clicked. I thought I was thinking that the Falconer. I was being stupid. Yet perhaps there were others I needed to talk to first. Investigations are colored by the wants and the needs of the people affected, and you can't paint a full picture in just one shade. That is a very good. That's very well written of a statement, and very true. I caught Sunlight's eye, and she fixed me with the blinding smile of hers. Another brew, Cassie? Nope, some advice. Regarding? Who here has the sharpest eye and the biggest mouth? Sharpest eye. Oh my god. Wika Jones. That name? The biggest mouth, that belongs to Bandy Goodwin. Oh my god, she's holding a bottle of... I don't know if that's alcohol or poison. Well... Biddy Goodwin. Captain Moonlight. No, you don't talk to Captain Moonlight. Let's learn more about them. Biddy Goodwin? Biddy was one of our first miners to strike gold here before the good captain arrived and gave it a name. She obviously doesn't like to show off her wealth. I'm not the one to presume the business of others, but if she made much of anything out of those early days, she hides it well. Enough to afford a bottle of whiskey or two, though. Per day. Oh my god. Really? I own a pub, Miss Winter. I tend to notice things like that. Yeah, Oh my god. I know my friend's like dream to have that. Sharp eyes and big mouth. We'll have to wait, I'm afraid. But oh god. Best payment. I didn't want to speak to him first. Looks like you have time anyways. Biddy seems to have poor Wika well and truly cornered at the moment. Poor Wika. I'm probably horribly destroying that name. Indeed. As I approach him, Captain Moonlight fixed me with cool smile I'd come to expect from colonial businessmen. A new country meant new rules, new ways of doing things. Everyone was finding their feet. Some succeeding, many not. It was a time to be cautious, a time when trust was as hard to earn and find as gold. Good to you. Good of you to come to our belligerent little town, Miss Winter. You all rode up from Fort Eden, did you? I did, yes. Not an easy ride, not an easy journey, that. You came via the central Otago gold fields, then over Arthur's Pass. Word has it there are bushwhackers on that road now. Not as many as the newspaper would have you believe. Even a few less now. George nodded, clearly impressed. A woman traveling alone? I imagine they thought you easy pickings. I suspect those pistols of yours persuaded them otherwise. Yes, they'd been known to change their minds of the less enlightened when needed. But as you know, I'm not really into hunting people business. Indeed not. And as you might have gathered from my letter to the Order of the Falcon, I don't think people are at the heart of the problems here in Moonlight. Pointed at the tumbler of whiskey he'd placed on the bar. Care for a tipple to smooth our negotiations? Perhaps later, Captain. Alright then. Down to business. Your letter mentioned missing people, perhaps a dozen? This is a mining town. People tend to come and go without a buy or leave. But yes, as far as I can reckon, we have 15 unexplained disappearances. Miss Margaret Matthews being the latest. She went missing yesterday. Sounds like I got here none too soon. My thoughts exactly. George produced a contract from his jacket pocket, and we talked over the finer details. Should the cause of the disappearance transpire to be human in origin, a sizable donation would be made to the Order of the Falcon in thanks for re-establishing civil rights in the town of Moonlight. Should it come to light that the town troubles be color and nature, then an even larger sum would be donated to the Order in return for hunting down and dispatching said color. A pretty standard contract, really. I'd seen it like many times before on many a prior mission. Although in honesty, this was the first one I'd signed for myself. My first solo mission. Not something I divulged to Captain Moonlight, though. Though it would work in both, it might shake his confidence in me. Don't wish to mention it again at all. Not even in my own head. Might cause it shock my own conscience. This is a little bit complicated in my head just because it is like one of those things of like, it isn't completely proper English because it is meant to be more of a old Western kind of thing. I settled over to Weka and Betty. Just in time too, as their argument seems about ready to boil over into something uglier. You and Maggie goes into the bush, only to come back. Mighty bloody suspicious, if you ask me, Weka. No one did ask you, Biddy. Maggie would, if she was here. So where is she? I don't know. Better at counting cards than corpses, hey, gambler? Oh. Better at counting cards than corpses, eh, gambler? That's enough. Enough? How many folk you gotta vanish into the mist before it's really enough? Oh, God. Politely distract Betty. She's been drinking. I figured it was time to intercede. Biddy Goodwin? Biddy glared at me with a face like one of those old potatoes left too long in the bottom of the sack. The eye even matched. I don't think I had ever seen eyes so dark and full of spite. Who's asking? Weka made the most of the distraction and beat a hasty retreat. I need to talk to him at some point, but I don't think I'd get a straight answer out of Biddy while the gambler was still in range of that antique shooter of hers. Cassie Winters, the one had hired to get to the bottom of these disappearances. Oh yeah? Who hired you? Captain Moonlight. Laughed out some phlegm and spat into the carpet just shy of my boot. And you're burning the cheating old bastard's cash. The gobshite responsible for scarped out the door. Just scampered out that door? Why do you think it's Weka? Didn't nobody disappear until Weka rode into town, and a fancy on his black horse? Saw him go into the bush with Maggie Matthews with my own eyes. She finished her statement with a healthy pull from her whiskey bottle. Southern sauce. I just read that. I didn't even know that. Okay, these cues are just like, I'm timing, like, this is pure coincidence this time. I don't even know half these things, and I'm just getting, like, lucky with that. I'd heard of the stuff. Smooth as honey and hard as a horse kick between your eyes. Brewed by some Highland bootleggers in the deep south. How big you get a hold of this stuff was anybody's guess. When was that? Last night, just on sunset. Had you been drinking? No more than usual. Maggie's not been seen since. That's right. Weka done for her what? That's what. What about the others? That have gone missing. You saw any of them go into the bush with Weka? I don't think it was possible. But Biddy's face grew more wrinkled as it puckered up in thought. Looked like another spit was brewing. One biter with the answer. She turned up in the whiskey-soaked brain of hers. Oh God, that was... I don't know, that kind of fried my mind a little bit trying to read that. Beatty Goodwin, you spat on my carpet again, and I'll be spitting you out onto the street. Biddy glowered at sunlight, but refrained from exturbating all the same. Nope, I've not seen anyone else go into the bush with Weka. Doesn't mean it didn't happen, mind you. Judging by his attire, I doubt Weka ventures into the bushes much at all. Would I be wrong there? Suppose not. It didn't feel like Biddy was telling me the whole truth. But how was I going to get more out of the truth out of her? I don't want Biddy to get upset. More upset than she already is at Weka? God. You seem like one who keeps track of comings and goings in this town, Miss Goodwin. Do I now? I think so. And perhaps you saw someone else head out into the bush around the same time as Weka and Maggie. Perhaps a little before. Do you think if I'd seen anyone else, I'd be pointing bloody murder at Weka? So you saw no one before or after? Not a soul. Heard something, though. No, that's not right. I didn't hear something, that's what. Seems whiskey has finally taken its toll on Biddy's brain. Did you hear something or not? Keep your fancy blonde locks on, Falconer. I'm getting to it. Fact is, I didn't hear the birds that night. No twee nor bellbird. No wood pigeon slapping about with that whooshing sound they make. Nothing. New Zealand bush was usually a riot of bird songs in the evening, so that likely meant one thing. There'd been a caller about. Thank you, Miss Goodwin. And if you don't mind, you and I should speak again soon. Ain't going nowhere. And don't call me Miss Goodwin. We're not in church, Falconer. Biddy will do fine. Alright. While we're on the topic of names, I prefer Cassie. She gave me a wearily smile and took a long pull from her bottle. As she drank, her eyes switched from me to the bar and grew a shade darker. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught the finer tailored jacket, neatly trimmed dark beard, slick black hair, and gleamed back black boots. Seemed that Biddy had a bit of a hate on with regards to Captain Moonlight. Oh. At that point, Biddy clearly decided it was time for parting shots and a dramatic exit. She faced Captain Moonlight with a sinister squint and pointed at him with a pudgy digit. "Oh, King George! When you planning to get off my land?" "My land. You sold it fair and square." George's response was a chuckle of warm, well-practiced patience. "Yeah, like the bullet I'm gonna put square between those cheating eyes of yours." "Careful, Biddy. That sort of talk will earn you a night in the gaol." At least Biddy had the good sense to shut her mouth from that point on. Instead, she muttered something about King George and some unseemly carnal acts not worth repeating, and stalked towards the door. "And good night to you, Biddy. Please don't try to leave town." Weiserminer tipped her bottle, a mocking version of a salute, and then she was gone. My apologies, Miss Winters. Biddy's not one of our more peace-loving citizens. Can't say I have all much time for peace myself. I can try and keep it, but it never seems to stay. And such is the life of the Falconer, I suppose. I'll drink to that. Okay. I don't actually know how long the demo is, so for right now I'm going to cut this. Depending on how much longer it goes, I might cut in another part. I might just cut into the entire thing to make one video, but we'll see. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying it because this seems quite interesting, and I'm a fan of supernatural stuff. Actually, I used to love the TV show Constantine. That was great. But anyways, I hope you all have an amazing day.